Sly Cooper, boss.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Look at that on the audio. That's loud.
Yeah,
Actually, it's quieter than usual.
Oh no! So, ladies and gentlemen, I slammed the table.
After we said we weren't going, we can't see it that much. So
He broke the one rule we all talked about. Not
Yeah.
slamming the table.
Anyway, we are doing something different. We're going to be doing a podcast
with
type-
2 O's.
As
Yeah, sure.
was discussed in your episode that went up last Friday.
Uh-huh.
That hasn't been filmed yet.
Currently not.
But you explained it in detail there.
Yes,
Did
So
he?
our viewers know.
that is true. Thank you, Danny. I toast my Sprite to you.
Thank you.
Anyway,
What an honor.
we are doing a podcast now, so let us begin, as Voldemort once said.
I thought that was Dumbledore.
No, it was literally. First off, this is not the topic that we were going to start off on, but
Go right ahead.
it was in Deathly Hallows Part 1.
That's why I don't remember it.
Because it was after the wizard shield had been raised over Hogwarts, and there was the army with all the Voldemort nerds shooting their spews at the shield, and right before that, Voldemort says, "Let it begin."
Oh, I'm thinking of the part in one of the earlier Harry Potter movies where they're in the Great Hall about to feast, and Dumbledore goes, "Let the feast begin."
What if they're the same, what if they're the same person? And
They're not.
that's like the dead giveaway.
I mean, it would be a dead giveaway. Spoilers: Dumbledore dies.
Yeah, 'cause
Or
he
did
couldn't
he just
keep up
stop
with us.
having to pretend to be both Dumbledore and
Actually,
Voldemort?
That wouldn't happen because literally the end/beginning of 1 and 2 movies, specifically, Dumbledore's died, and he's in his, like, stone cradle coffin that he has.
Oh, yes, the White Tomb, as
Yes.
the book calls it.
Yes. And he's, like, dead, and Voldemort is face-to-face with him, just being like, "Ugh."
Was he like about to piss on his grave or some shit?
No, because he was, so Dumbledore was buried with the Elder One.
Okay, so 2 things, John. 2 things. 1, what if he was just a Horcrux?
He wasn't. Harry Potter was a
My
Horcrux.
question is, what if he was just a Horcrux?
He wasn't.
You know he has like 18 Horcruxes.
No, he had, what, 8?
19.
What if he had 9, John?
He did it.
Second of all, maybe that body in the grave was put there by magic, and that wasn't really him.
And what if it
because-
was like a golem or something? Or Professor Flitwick shapeshifted a Mandragora
Who
to
the
look like...
hell is Professor Flitwick?
It's one of them. It's one of the teachers.
So, I think if it was Flitwick, if his name, no, that wouldn't be his name.
Did you mention Flitwick and the Mandragora? Is he the plant teacher?
I think that's...
No,
is
that was a
Sprout?
woman. That was Professor Sprout. She was very good at making tonics.
Oh, okay.
And tinctures.
Could she have made a better polyjuice potion?
She didn't have to, because obviously Hermione knows how to make it by turning herself into a cat.
And she's
on
like half
accident.
Milton.
Well, in that episode, no, she's like 90% Milton in that episode.
Really?
Milton's are... actually, he's John's very old cat.
Who is very loud and raucous.
Now you've made him shy and withdrawn. So good job, guys.
Anywho, moving on with the
Point.
podcast. So, not saying that this wasn't the podcast, but we did
'cause it
have
is, 'cause
topics.
We're still here in the podcast.
Yes,
We're in the podcast
This
circle
is
right now.
actively the podcast.
actively as opposed to passively.
It's going to be about a bunch of nerd shit from the sound of it.
Bet your sweet ass,
So-
Danny.
Buckle up, everybody.
So, just one of the topics we were starting off with was recent games that we have played or have been playing.
Who's going to start?
I vote Danny.
I also vote Danny.
I'm going to start. All right, well, right off the bat, I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise.
Great fucking game.
That was also being played on the channel.
He raised a finger.
Since then, since the channel, I have
He's doing a swish and flick, folks.
yes, I have hunted Teostra and
Toaster.
Bales the Goose and all those different ridiculous ones.
Toaster and Beetlejuice. Yes.
Beetlejuice, Beelzebub. I've hunted all of the monsters in the game now, and I am doing it with style. It's been pretty fun.
Rocking that Kushala Daora.
The Kushala Buscemi hammer?
Oh, I got not the hammer, I got the entire set and the
Ooh.
hammer. So it boosts the ice attack that the hammer provides. It lets me heal 4 times faster naturally, like the red bar, after getting hit.
Okay.
And then after I have no red bar left, I can continue to heal. So I have constant health regen on, and
That's pretty good.
I draw aggro with my attacks too. So it's nice.
It's a tanking armor.
It's a nice trade off because John plays sword and he's going
Specifically, great sword.
for tail. And it's a pretty good sword, but he goes
Thanks,
for the
man.
tails.
It's a pretty alright sword.
Yes. I've also been playing Pokemon Snap. I've been playing that all day today. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's everything I hoped it would be
And more.
and more. A lot of more. There are a couple small gripes I have, but overall it's super good.
Are they
Are you
the...
sure you're not just being over analytical? Like you've been known to be?
I've been okay. So when it comes to video games, one of my biggest pet peeves is having to look something up. If I can't figure it out in the game, it's one thing if it was an obvious solution and I'm dumb. I'm like, okay, well, that's me being dumb. But when it's like, walk over here and spin 3 circles clockwise and then press up, down, B, attack, and then run over here, talk to this guy 17 times with the same dialogue, and then go over here and the best weapons there. Stuff that you can't figure out without the internet. It detracts from the experience. So Pokemon Snap has some of that with their side quests that are completely optional. That being said, I do enjoy it overall.
So you said that these were your gripes.
Yes.
Would you go so far as to call them your gripes of wrath?
No, wrath isn't the right word. I'll let you know when I have gripes of wrath.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think the joke went over his head. This man does not know the infamous book, The Grapes of Wrath.
I went to high school, same as you, John.
Yeah,
guys had
let me
to read-
guess.
You guys had to read that book?
I did not, but let me
I didn't
guess, you
either.
read Lord of the Flies, didn't ya?
I did read Lord of the Flies.
I believe I did.
It was all about children murdering each other.
You remember that when that kid got pushed off? No, did they push a rock on his head and it talks about his brains?
Like,
Yeah, just like oozing out of his head. His name was Piggy.
yeah,
Remember that?
he died.
He did. That's
Spoilers.
It's probably what happens when your brain comes out of your head.
Typically, yeah.
I haven't really been playing much else though. I'm playing through a slowly but surely a Picross.
the Hatsune Miku one.
Yeah,
Didn't you,
You're playing Crosscode too.
I am playing Crosscode, one of my favorite games of all time.
That is literally... Danny's in a state of always playing that game, for the record. But I did notice, because I hung out with you that day, you did reinstall Animal Crossing again.
Oh, I did. I played an evening of Animal Crossing. One of my online buddies got a Switch and the game.
Mhm.
She had lost her previous file, so I was there to help her out a little bit and play with her because it had been months.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I haven't played it since, but
I mean,
it was a good time.
I stopped before you did. And so,
It was super, super endearing having all of the people in the town be like, whoa, I haven't seen you in like 11 months. And you know what? I understand you got stuff to do, but boy, is it great to see you right now.
That's good.
I'm like, this makes me feel real nice. And then one of them's like, I never want to talk to you again. Or like, oh, what's your name? I forget. Just kidding. I know it's you. You know, you coming back to stay or what? And I was like, I might.
Wow.
Hopefully the mic picked that up. Be a real shame if it didn't. Okay. What about you, Kevin?
Oh, I've been playing some Final Fantasy IV on my iPad. I'm pretty hyped for the expansion for 14 they're going to be talking about on Friday.
Yeah.
Endwalker, which is supposed to pull a lot of inspiration from 4, which is one of my favorites.
Okay.
So, I'm playing through that. Last time I played through it, I was still in high school, and I did not understand. I came close to the end, but I couldn't beat it because I was really terrible at the game. I realized after playing this version. Yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
That's good.
The story's really good and
How
depressing. And
how far in are you?
I think 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay, still kind of starting out, but
Yeah. I already have a full party, and I know that I'm about to lose everyone except the main character, and then he's going to have his level reset to 1, and
what version of the game are you playing? You said it's on iPad, but is it like
it's the DS version.
the DS? Okay,
So it's still good.
that's cool. I didn't know the iPad played.
Emulator.
So on the iPad you can get
Oh yeah, because
you can get like the first 9 Final Fantasies on there.
it's on the App Store.
Nice. I didn't know.
You just, I think it's what you pay like $6 or something.
I got that one in the After Years, which is the sequel. It was cool because they redid the After Years came out on WiiWare, and then they redid it in the DS style, so it's all 3D and voiced and everything.
Nice.
So I ended up grabbing both of those. Ben was playing those. It's a good time. I've been playing 14 on the side too.
Yeah.
Big Final Fantasy kick then.
Yeah. It was funny. I was like on a huge Final Fantasy kick before I got COVID, and I like kicks usually last like 2 or 3 weeks for me. Mm-hmm. Well, that one was I was on like 3 months of that. Now that I'm like back to normal, it's like it just came back, which is really weird. So I'm still doing Final Fantasy stuff all the time. But I really love that franchise and that series. So
Nice.
Yeah.
well, do play a little. Try to play a little bit of Near Replicant when I have the time, which I really do like that one.
That one just came out too.
Yeah. I saw on Twitter, because there's a few, I think it's like 2 people from the Critical Role cast. I think it's Laura Bailey and Liam O'Brien. I think they are both in Replicant.
Liam O'Brien is Grimoire Vice,
Yep.
and he is hands down like the best character
Yep. And then
that I've seen in that so far.
Laura Bailey is Kane?
She's the loud chick that I find really annoying. I'm sure she's going to be explained and be really great later, but she comes off as really loud and brash, and I don't like people like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, shut the fuck up and get away from me.
Yeah.
But I know you're not, and I know you're going to be cool later, so I'll deal with it. But yeah.
Yeah. And so I saw a little bit about, because there was like I said, there was a video on Twitter that was showing like the voice actors of the game and kind of like showing like little tidbits of gameplay in between, you know, when they're talking and stuff like that during like this group interview, if you will. And it looks interesting because it's a remake.
It's it's not a remake, but it's not a remaster. It's kind of like weird in between. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want to play it, you can borrow my copy.
That's fair.
It plays so much better than the PS3 when I had the PS3 one.
Because the original one was on PS3, right?
It was, and it had a different main character too.
Yeah, and that's something else I noticed that I thought was really interesting. Where it was like, oh,
Instead of
it's not Gruffman.
yeah, it's not Gruffman Daddy Near. It's little anime boy Near, who's still pretty great.
He does look a little bit like a twink, doesn't he?
He does. So you got the Don Bluth, you got the Twink and the Bear. So
Uh-huh.
so those are the two good, like those are the two kind of male characters he can design.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Twink and the Bear.
The Twink and
So
the Bear.
basically the 2 male leads from Anastasia.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell me right now that the Twink lead from Anastasia isn't just the main character from Titan AE and the Prince from Thumbelina.
He's also Milo Thatch.
No.
No, he's not. Milo Thatch is much thinner.
And better designed.
And better designed. Milo Thatch is just a better character. I'm sorry, Danny.
I know you have like
Better
this
than
massive
what?
hate boner for him, which is delightful. We need to do an episode on just Danny's hatred
So
for Milo Thatch.
So I have not seen the entirety of Thumbelina. I don't even think I've seen like any of it. But
You living with me, I need to fix this.
fair enough. But
Because it's a problem.
the twink of Anastasia reminds me of in Pocahontas, like Leonardo DiCaprio's character that he voices. Brown hair, white guy.
Leonardo DiCaprio's in Pocahontas?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's the guy that helps John.
Oh, I can see his character in my head.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna look it up on the
Ian, if
the
you could
Googles right now.
pull up a comparison for us, real quick.
Yeah, and throw Milo Thatch in too.
Yeah, but make him smaller.
No. Make him exactly the size he needs to be so our viewers can understand.
Freaking massive.
But
Are
yeah,
you talking about Thomas?
I think so.
Because it says it's on the.
Is it not Leo?
It's Christian Bale.
I had him mixed up. I think it is Christian Bale, not Leo.
Sorry, Leo. Sorry,
Let me see a picture of
Christian
him.
Bale.
Yeah, that's him.
I just want to see that picture on the left, and
Yep.
just have him be like, "Where is he?"
Yeah.
Can we also get a gif of Cocoam running at the screen? Because that's the best part of the whole movie.
It's just that scene.
I like the one where he comes out of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's so fun sometimes.
Yeah. Anything else after Replicant for you?
I did get Pokemon Snap too. That's the one I kind of play with my mom because she's retired now and we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
So her and I just kind of chill and play that.
Yeah.
It's funny because she gets really stressed out by certain things in that game. And I'm just like,
What
this is
stresses her out in that game?
things moving too fast.
I can understand that.
Trying to like get a photo and it's just moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you're like the first time you come across like a Yan Mega and you just don't expect it to be like and you're just like
It might help if you had. I don't know if you have gyro.
I do.
aiming. Okay. Because you could probably turn faster or exactly as needed.
It does take a little bit of getting used to.
Okay.
With the gyro, but yeah, it's not like it don't bother me, but you know, it's like there's something my mom was watching me play a while ago, and she couldn't because it was like stressing her out too bad. Oh, was it? It might have been Skyward Sword, like that long ago.
I can see that.
And she was watching me fight Girahim, and she was just like, this is too stressful. I was like, oh, I love this fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which I'm super excited for Skyward Sword.
Yeah, for the remake or remaster. Sorry,
Because I haven't beaten that game a second time because I've been waiting for the remake, and every time I go to start it up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get like 20 hours into this 40-hour game, and they're like, yeah, we're doing a remake for the current system, and it's like, I don't want that to happen. It's finally happening.
Yep. And so, the time has come for him, for Kevin.
Yes. How about you, John? What games?
Been playing a literal fuck ton of Rise.
Yeah. I do see you on it a lot.
Yeah, I've been playing that a lot. However, as I have told you when I was hanging out with you last, I have finally reached that point where I don't feel like I need to actively get on as much because I'm just about at the end of where I need to be.
Yeah, you're pretty much at the peak.
Because like for the build that I'm rocking, which is a Tigrex Greatsword with a fuck ton of like critical eye and attack boost and stuff like that. I've got all the gear, I've got all the armor, I've got all the decorations. I literally just need the right talisman, and I'm done. Which, for the talisman, I just need one skill on it.
Out of strange coincidence, my roommate was telling me just this morning about a trick people are using to get talismans way quicker and better. You turn off auto-saving. You queue up a battle. Specifically, there's one against a Rajang in the arena.
Okay.
You jump down and let him floor you 3 times and go back. You'll get the item crafted. If it's not what you want,
you do it
restart
again.
and do it again.
Okay.
But
There you
it
go.
takes like a minute to get carded 3 times by a Rajang.
Yeah.
but you don't have to spend all the materials to keep making all the amulets. You can just go until you get the amulet you want. I guess that's what people are suggesting now. Just if you're interested in grinding a little further.
Well, the problem is that to get the talismans is that you have to basically sacrifice monster parts or other ingredients to get the right points to get all the,
Right.
the talismans and stuff. So parts could be a factor if you don't have them.
Well, you only need to craft the one, and then you reset if you don't get it, and it's still in the works. And then you get carded again, and if it's not the one, you reset. That's why you turn off auto-saving.
Mm.
It's not the most exciting, but if you're looking to be peak physical form,
Yeah.
that would probably be the route I'd recommend.
Yeah. The only downside is that like the talisman I need requires focus, which I don't know if either of you. I think I told you what it does. What basically focus does is like I think it reduces reload time and then also increases charge time or something like that.
Okay.
And so if you're using a greatsword and you're spending most of your time charging your attacks, having that percentage to reduce the charge time by like 15%,
That's pretty good.
it's noticeably different comparatively. And so that'd be nice to have, but at the same time, I've got everything I need for it. Outside of Rise,
I have seen you on 14 a little bit. Is that something you're going to stick with?
not recently. That's just because I've been...
Danny was about to sneeze right there.
Yeah, sorry for the pause. But I was doing 14, and then I got really into Rise, and then I kind of just stopped.
And then he rose, and that was it.
Basically, I rose to the occasion.
What about, have you booted up WoW at all? Do you still do dailies on that, or have you kind of...
So I was debating if I wanted to talk about this or not because I'm unsure. Thinking about unsubbing
It's going to unsub, ladies and gentlemen.
because
Just sub to 14 more and play that with me.
I'm subbed with both.
You should play 14 with me too, Danny.
So the problem is that I don't think we're probably not on the same data center.
Well, they're doing like a big merge soon.
Oh, never mind. We'll see what happens. But like with WoW,
You're logging on just to do dailies?
not
like
even.
that?
Not even. Like I log on if I'm like bored. But if I'm bored, there's other things I could be doing that are more interesting.
Yeah.
And so, like, don't get me wrong. I love the cinematics that they do. I love, to a degree, the story that they're doing. And at the time of recording this, someone by the name who, if anyone listening to this is like a huge WoW fan, probably knows of a name of a person called Asmongold. He has been playing WoW probably since vanilla, and so he,
Streamer?
yes, when he streams, he has like the personality for that, and then when he needs to, he can be more serious about other topics when he's not streaming. And one of the things that he put out, I believe today or yesterday, was like a big thing on like the negativity of WoW and several other topics.
Interesting.
And one of the things that he put out was saying WoW used to be a game. It used to be a game worth sinking time into. But nowadays, WoW has become something that just takes your time and is not worth it.
Wow.
And I saw that line, or like I'm paraphrasing / rewording it slightly, but the point being, I saw that, Guys.
Saw that.
Guys.
You saw it.
Guys.
What?
I don't want Danny to take that prize. Keep talking, man.
No, because like I saw that and it made me realize that it's kind of this Danny sad face.
In context, I keep stealing Danny's fries. Then John pushed some mozzarella sticks at him.
Yeah. Anyway, it made me realize that I'm kind of in the same boat. Why am I sub for $15 a month when I'm not even playing it? And so I'm debating unsubbing to WoW and 14. I'm not saying it is anywhere near the same controversial thing in my head, but MMOs have kind of fallen off the radar a bit for me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty common.
It is. It sucks because, I love WoW.
Well,
But
that's the thing. It'll always be there. If you ever want to dish out $15, you can go back for another month and see. Because sometimes all you need is like
A day.
a step back.
In your case.
You just, well, yeah, but like, for me with MMOs, if I get to the point where I'm logging on just to do a daily routine for a minute and then getting off, I'm not doing it for anything. Then I'm just doing it to waste my time.
Yeah.
At the point where there's nothing that I'm actively doing other than just collecting whatever time gated resource. There's no need to play anymore. So that's usually when I stop in MMOs.
Yeah. I feel that. And it sucks because, I do enjoy WoW. I do enjoy playing it. It's just, there's nothing to gain from it from me right now.
That is fair.
Because it's like with Rise, grinding for gear, at least you're fighting like cool monsters and shit.
Yeah, it's like the gameplay loop for that is fun.
Yeah. With WoW, if I'm trying to grind for gear, I gotta, because I play DPS, it's like, alright, well, I'll wait like half an hour for like a looking for raid queue to pop, and then, oh cool, I'll get to fight one wing of that raid where it's only 3 to 4 bosses. Oh cool, I just spent an hour doing this whole wing of a raid, and I got nothing for it. Guess I'll queue up for 30 minutes again. And it's like, that's not fun. That's not interesting. And so that's,
It does sound pretty awful.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why, like, if I was, like, in a guild, like, with friends and people that I talk to on, like, a daily basis and stuff like that, then it's like, okay, cool. What do we want to do today? Oh, we want to go get some, like, transmogs from some old-ass raid? Let's fucking go do it, just the 3 of us. That could at least be something. But I don't have that. And so, prior to now, there was a point for me getting on every day. And it was like, log on, work on a rep grind. That's working towards something.
It's like a relic weapon in 14.
No, it's reputation.
Oh, okay.
Some faction.
Yeah, so for example, in Shadowlands, there's 4 covenants they're able to choose from. And people have pointed out that when Shadowlands, the current expansion, was put out there, they were really hyping covenants as being these cool, like, faction type deals where you be part of a covenant and you're, like a hero for that covenant type of thing.
Okay.
And so after it came out, people started noticing, oh, this is just a reskinned feature from a previous expansion.
Ooh.
It's just kind of like garrisons, which garrisons were in Worlds of Draenor, to all of you lovely folks out there who play WoW, if you do or did. And so it's like the same thing, just reskinned.
That is disappointing. Like, that makes me feel disappointed, and I don't even play it.
That's kind of
Well-
Blizzard's thing lately. Activision Blizzard.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like Activision.
Nope.
I used to like
vicious.
Activision back when Call of Duties were different. But the point being, I'm thinking about unsubbing for a while, and I'm toying with that idea.
Well, if you do, it'll always be there whenever you're ready
Yeah.
to sub again. So
Yep.
If you're not actively playing it, save yourself some money.
And then HOTS, Heroes of the Storm. I'm always down to play that, and I play that somewhat regularly. Not recently, though, just because I'm working on other stuff.
I like Overwatch more than HOTS. I'm an Overwatch guy.
I would like to try Overwatch again. I haven't played it since it came out.
So
It's different.
it's weird.
There's less shitty people in our group playing right now, so
Yeah.
It's weird. So me and I managed to get a couple friends. I think I talked to you about this. I managed to get them into playing HOTS after having not played HOTS in a very long time.
Uh-huh.
And so they started playing it as a way to not play League of Legends. And they were enjoying it for a little while. And then for whatever reason, they were playing Overwatch characters in HOTS. And 3 or 4 of them were like,
Let's just go.
let's just play Overwatch. And then I got to hear them complain about it for the rest of the night that I was on. And I'm just like, oh good. It hasn't changed a bit.
Same old Overwatch.
Yeah. And then, the fact that they changed, since the last time they all had played it, so many, things had changed with all the characters. Torbjorn was completely different than when he first released.
is he?
Completely.
Fun fact about character changes. Symmetra, every piece of her kit has changed since the launch.
Yep.
Piece by piece, they've changed everything. She's not the character she was before.
Her teleporter,
Does it not
She-
teleport anymore?
she always has it now.
It used to be an ult. She could choose between 2 ultimates. One would be a teleporter that would spawn in the spawn room and wherever she placed it. So people respawning could just be back right there.
Okay.
Now she's able to place an instant teleport that drops one at her feet and one where she's aiming. So you can use it to teleport through choke points and stuff. It's devastating when used correctly, but it requires teamwork.
As one would expect.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff you can go solo. Roadhog, you're a one-man army.
Yeah.
You get
I don't
almost
think-
as much mileage on just
I don't think his
Ignore
kit's
everything.
changed at all. Has
it
it?
has.
Has it?
They've changed his gun around a few times, the ammo sizes, and your alternate fire is like a buckshot
Mm.
that goes out and then explodes.
Yeah.
They changed the range on that.
Oh.
His hook they nerfed because
course.
it was broken at
It-
the start of the game.
Extremely.
If you landed the hook, even if they blinked around a corner like Tracer blinked, as long as you landed it, it would pull them back to you. And on the way Overwatch works is not like other shooters; it favors the shooter. So when it's down to frames, on my screen, I'm already around the corner, but on their screen, that's not the case. And if they hit me, I take the damage anyway.
That sounds awful.
It's not a lot of people's favorite things. The servers are pretty low quality too, which doesn't help. But
How could something as big as a Blizzard game have a low quality server?
people have been begging Blizzard ever since it came out to up, and they might have by now. But
You asked that question. Lest I remind you of stuff like the Diablo 3 launch.
Oh, I remember the
Oh.
Diablo 3 launch.
any Blizzard game launch is
Any online game launch.
Yeah.
Because I
Blizzard
remember
mastered.
I told myself I wasn't even gonna play it until the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's gonna be a shit show trying to get on this.
And then we're not even going to bring up the fucking nonsense that they had initially in Diablo 3.
I'm talking about the real money auction house.
Yeah!
In theory, I have no problem with it.
But it's the internet.
But the problem is there were like documented proofs that the servers would go down. They'd be like, we're doing maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
The servers would go down. They'd come back up. And all of a sudden, amazing items would be in that auction house that weren't there before the service. And it's like, who put those in there while the server was down, Blizzard? Who am I paying this amount of money to, huh? No way to know for sure, but pretty weird.
That's pretty sus.
Pretty sus.
As kids would say, or people would say. I don't know much of the New World lingo.
It's shifty. It's very shifty.
It is. I'm still trying to understand why Sheesh has come back.
Who?
Like Sheesh
Like-
Louise?
No, like
Sorry.
the verbal reaction. You know, like when something's bad, and you just go like sheesh. But now it's become like sheesh, and I'm like, where'd that come from?
Probably some kid said it, and then some other kid was like, "Yo, that's lit fire, fam, yo."
That's fresh
And then
to
that's
death.
I'm gonna put that on the TikToks and the Instas.
Yeah.
Hippity hoppity. That phrase is now my property.
My God.
That's fucking awful. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Yep.
Thanks. I hate it.
You're welcome.
Anyway. Yeah.
Any other games?
Outside of like phone games, nah.
I played the original Shantae on Switch recently.
Oh yeah.
It's not good.
I don't know.
It's very charming. It's the kind of like way forward stuff that I like.
You grew up on.
Like, well, I didn't grow up on. Well, I kind of grew up on. That's the stuff like I fell in love with. I'm not a big fan of what they put out now. Not saying I think it's bad or anything. It just doesn't click with me like the old stuff does.
Sure.
But yeah, no. There's no way I could ever beat that game without save states. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
So it's a rough. It was the first game.
Well, it was the duality of the statement of Kevin saying, "Oh, I'm playing the first Shantae on Switch," and you go, "Oh yeah," and you say it's not bad, it's bad, and I'm like, "Oh no." But yeah, no.
Gorgeous looking though. Like there's a lot of good in that game that's not the gameplay.
Fair. So yeah, for me, it's just like Rise has really been the main game I've been playing recently because I've been working on like
Now that is closing.
I don't
gap
know.
is closing. So what are you gonna play now? Do you have any game?
not off the top of my head, no.
Because Resident Evil just came out.
I watched someone play like 6 hours of it.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I didn't play 7. I have no real interest in playing a Resident Evil game. I love watching it though. And you know, some people will maybe like give me some smack for that. But I did get to see the tall booba lady.
As I understand, she's pretty early in.
She is pretty early in, and I won't spoil anything in regards to that, but a lot of people were simping for her. Granted, in my opinion, good reason. Having seen her like first part of the game, if there's a second, I don't know, but the part that she is in that I saw kind of turned me away from her a bit, so I'm not stuck in horny jail for her.
That makes me really interested to see what her character is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she was ever intended for that purpose in the first place. I think the internet just
But
ran off with it.
Yeah.
it is modern day internet culture though.
Yeah.
Well,
And they latch on to the weirdest shit, dude.
well, to be fair, there's the running meme / joke, whatever you want to call it, that is like, go get yourself a big titty goth girlfriend. Sorry, big titty goth GF. And I'm like, I mean, sure,
Nah,
I'm all about that.
not for me.
And
But-
when I say sorry, I just want to clarify. When I say they hook onto some weird shit, nothing against that, because I've found weird things I thought were just delightful. So no shame or judgment on that. But
Yeah.
it's just it's just the internet nowadays.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
of course.
I
you
know, and
wouldn't.
that's like the best part of like showing these things to you, because you're like delighted, confused, and mostly upset.
Well, it's because it's like kind of going slightly off, well, somewhat off topic, right? We are all relatively around the age of 30. Relatively. I won't go into the finer details. And so it's like,
My boss said I was 31. I thought that was funny. I'm not 31.
fair enough.
I'm 30. Danny's 33.
I'm the youngest at the table, apparently.
And he's 32.
Got him.
Yeah. Either way, we are definitely past that age of, coming up with like the new lingo or like TikTok and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some friends of mine that, watch TikToks purely for the fact of just getting laughs out of it,
Mm-hmm.
which is to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you go to it for. No more
Yeah.
power to you.
It's just, not really for me. It's not my thing. I don't even use Snapchat.
Oh yeah, Snapchat exists.
I got that because someone I was seeing at the time was like, you should get Snapchat. I was like, okay. So I created my thing on it, and I never use it.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the original topic, really, yeah, for me, I'm probably not going to get Village. I might get the Mass Effect collection.
Is that this month?
I believe it's this Friday.
Ooh, I'll probably grab that then.
I want to grab it, but then again, I was on a telework schedule. Now I'm not on that schedule anymore, and so my time at home is once again decreased. And so I'm just like,
But if you're not playing anything else,
yeah,
you're starting to wean off of Rise a little bit and WoW a little bit.
well, not even. I've already weaned off WoW. It's literally just a subscription of $15 a month thing going out of my wallet. But I get the point. I get what you're saying. Like there's the Mass Effect collection. Really, there's like I could go back to Cyberpunk, I guess.
Disgaea 6 comes out in a month or two.
Oh yeah.
Outside of the RPG phone game, I never really got into it.
Disgaea 6 looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Those are the only SRPGs I could really get into.
They certainly make the rest of them seem extremely dull by comparison.
Yes.
I think I've been spoiled by the Disgaea franchise.
Mm.
I have no doubt that Final Fantasy Tactics is a better game overall. But it's also boring as hell when I could just have my character
There's
do...
people who fight you for saying that, man.
Yeah, I know.
Well, because like my understanding, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Disgaea is not meant for story. It is meant for grinding.
It has story.
It's not
Yeah.
great, from my understanding. It's not meant.
They're more
vary
anime
from
tailored
game to
stories.
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
They're not incredibly deep stories.
Yeah.
No.
Whereas, and I think you both played it, like Tactics and Tactics Advanced.
I played Tactics Advanced.
I could never so when I tried to play Tactics the first time, it was on the PSP version,
Okay.
which very long load times, very slow, and the game's already slower paced enough.
Boring.
So I just, I was younger. It just could not hold my attention, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like Mark talks about it all the time. And
Praising it.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool to see. There's a lot of really cool things in it,
Mhm.
and there's like job combinations. He'll tell me about. I'm like, that sounds like really fun to exploit and manipulate sort of thing. But I don't think I'd ever really sit down and play it, even though I'm like, as we said earlier, I'm a huge Final Fantasy kick.
Yeah.
So
But either way, shall we move on to the next topic then? So the next topic.
on why Danny hasn't finished both of his Fruitopias. Is that what they're called?
Is it because you stole them?
I put them back.
What's the next topic?
They're both in arm's reach.
Well, one isn't.
Finish.
The next topic.
This was finished. It was just ice in here.
They're still right in there.
Yeah, that's what happens when the ice melts.
that there's not just ice. There's still some drink left.
The ice bled. Anyway,
The ice bleeds.
so the next topic for this wonderful first inaugural episode of the podcast, which the tentative name that I came up with,
Oh yeah.
Par for the Couches, Square Table Communion.
That is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Danny's not hating it. Can we get a Ian? Can we get a thumbs up? A Danny thumbs up?
Can we get like a wavy thumbs up?
Yeah.
Or,
With the TM, because in my phone, Danny's name has a little tiny TM next to it.
of course.
Trademark.
Sorry, Ian. Could we get a wavy thumbs up with a tiny TM sitting on a fence?
A picket fence.
Because Danny's on the fence about it. Anyway. We got a small...
I can see your Danny, like, internalizing, just like, that's so dumb.
We got a small reaction from Danny on that one. I will take that and run with it. Anyway, the next topic. Top 3 video game franchises for the each of us.
Starting with you this time.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I take offense to that. I'm going to tell you right now, it's the hardest. I'm the hardest one to ask that question. Just because I don't, not to sound like an asshole, I don't have enough care to pick just 3.
Are there games that are insta-buy when they put out a new product?
That is a terrible question to ask me.
I would assume World of Warcraft would be up there,
It has been.
despite our previous
Yeah.
conversation.
Prior to the previous conversation, yes. It was an insta-buy because I loved getting the physical collector's editions.
Hmm.
I literally, for the Battle for Azeroth expansion, one of the things that the collector's edition came with was this giant, double-sided, like, heavy as fuck, like, desk weight giant coin that has, like, the Alliance Lion on one side, and on the back has, like, the Horde symbol. And it came with a stand and everything.
That sounds neat.
I will come off as the biggest fucking, like, drone you will ever come across. Because one of them would be WoW. Another one would probably be Pokemon. Excluding Pokemon, the new Pokemon Snap.
It's a very popular series.
Yeah. And then... I couldn't even tell you a third.
We can get back to you on it then.
Grad by the Ghoulies, I'd recommend.
I'll be honest, Kevin. Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Wow.
I don't understand why. So why is Pokemon so high that you're able to name it off the top of your head?
Well, like you said, it is a very popular series.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I love the concept of Pokemon. Just being able to go around a world catching Pokemon, forming a team. It's one of those games for me where I have a literal slider, like a slider, in my mind of how hard I want to go into this game. I could play it casually, or I could be like, you know what? I want to get a full team of shinies. And I will take that time to get it. I tried to do that in Sword. Didn't get very far. Because I realized that literally hatching like 300 eggs in a row and not getting a shiny was really boring.
Yep.
But
When you said how hard you wanted to go into it, you mean like fanatically?
yeah.
Because I have a thing with Pokemon. To me, they're all very easy. I don't think they're meant to be difficult.
Yep.
Anything that you can grind. You could take one Pokemon and go through the whole game with it.
Mhm.
And just to prove that point, in Pokemon Black and White,
Uh-huh. I know where this is going.
I went through the entire game with a Woobat, the equivalent of Zubat from Gen 1.
Yep.
Just because our friend said you couldn't.
Our buddy Mark said that it couldn't be done, that I couldn't do it. So I was like, I'll do it.
That's a challenge.
The only good stat on it is speed, so I always got to attack first.
Yep.
But because of the nature of the game, since I used exclusively one, it got stupid over level, and the rest of the stats that were average turned out to be really good. Comparatively to the thing 10, 15 levels below me. The only time I had difficulty, John, was in the Elite Four fight. I ran out of
moves.
PP moves, so I had to bring elixirs in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fight just... I went in unprepared. I got 2 or 3 fights in, and I was out of moves. I was like, well, this might be it. And then I went in and taught him new moves with TMs.
Yeah.
Which just sets it back up at top. So I just went in with a fresh set of moves and just floored it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I did it. Swoobat. He evolved. Swoobat.
You also had Tinky Winky, though.
Was that in the same game? Or
that was in the same game, but Tinky Winky was just kind of there to take hits. You never used Tinky Winky. It was at like level 13 when you...
Yeah, my Audino.
He used Helping Hand.
He is great at Helping Hand.
Lest I bring up the fact that Danny also went through... I don't remember if it was Sword.
I played Shield.
So it was Shield, and I believe you went through the entire game with 6 Machamps.
That was the most fun I think I've had in a Pokemon game in a long time. And then I fought our buddy Mark.
Yep.
And he floored my entire team with Corviknight.
Yep.
He one-shot them and he goes first. So I was like, all right, he's super effective and faster. So
yeah.
GG.
And yeah, because the whole thing was like, there was obviously, that whole, the finer mechanics of Pokemon battling and types and whatnot, but Mark, for a while, if I remember correctly, did try to make a competitive team. And so...
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to see most of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, the whole thing with Pokemon games is, like, they are meant to be relatively easy because they are literally designed for children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I get it. It's just... I just really, really enjoy the concept.
Yeah.
Plus, being able to... And, there is that hint of, like, nostalgia for it. For me. Because it's like, started out with, like, I think it was blue.
Mm-hmm.
Got yellow. And then I played, like, every Pokemon game up until Black and White. And then Black and White 2, I skipped both those 2 sets.
I'm no stranger to the nostalgia that Pokemon brings. I don't care for the series as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you should have... Kevin saw me when Pokemon Snap came out. I was getting giddy at a lot of these Pokemon showing up.
I don't see Danny get excited for things like he was. Like, I even commented, like, I was like, you are getting, like, super into this, and it's really delightful.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to say this, and obviously I've said it in our friend groups. New Pokemon Snap, 100% upgrade. Mm-hmm. And it looks gorgeous.
It does.
It's just, I just didn't get it. I don't have it.
You can play my copy sometime.
I could. Or I could buy it myself and feel like giving Nintendo money for something that they actually deserve.
See, I was going to bring that point up. Even though it is aimed for children, and it's made accessible enough that children can play it, Nintendo consistently fun.
Super polished, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
Except Sword and Shield.
Except what?
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
See, I like Sword and Shield a lot.
Couldn't call it polished, though.
Yeah, I mean...
The animations alone.
Just...
but we've had
our thing.
Yeah.
Just... If they can do like Sunshine, or not Sunshine, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild to make them look that good. When like, and I'm not saying like Pokemon has to live up to like that, because I know that it is a much bigger game in scale. Therefore, you'd have to tune back the visuals accordingly. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like it felt, last gen.
That is one of the reasons why, and this is a hill that I will die on until I play the game. I'm super excited for Arceus.
I'm cautiously optimistic about that one.
I'm so optimistic about it.
Cautiously optimistic is the way to go, because either you will be pleasantly surprised,
Yeah.
or not devastated.
See, well, no, because here's my thing. I'm extremely extremely excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I see, like, in the next direct, that it's not upholding what they've shown, that's my opinion changing based on new information.
Right.
And so that's just how I live life.
It is very optimistic that you think it's the next direct that they're going to talk about.
No,
But I know what you're saying.
yeah.
Honestly, if anything, then in the next direct, it's probably gonna be Zelda. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it's either the release or another like teaser like month out for Skyward Sword remaster.
It's about time for them to
Put out a new one,
show the new Smash character too.
as well as the other Zelda stuff that people were expecting in the last direct for what was it, 40th?
yeah, I hear rumors that they're bringing Ocarina of Majora to Switch.
Oh. Any kind of news on Breath of the Wild 2?
Oh yeah.
Which is a whole nother topic we will do in another podcast. Because my God, did we have a really long, lengthy conversation on just Zelda.
I could talk for hours about Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to entertain the idea of it. But I thought of my third.
Is it Devil's Third?
And it is not.
Ten Megami Sensei.
Shut the fuck up.
If that's anyone's top 3, it's probably Mark.
Mark, absolutely.
Yeah. They are really cool games, though.
They are.
Smash.
That's definitely on my list.
I will buy that. No pun intended. With the snap.
You'll smash that buy button.
I will smash that buy button.
So you're telling me you would like and subscribe?
100%.
Okay.
Might even join the community
Oh shit.
if you're a YouTuber.
Nice. How about you, Kevin? Top 3 franchises.
Zelda, Final Fantasy, and Castlevania in that order.
Zelda first.
Zelda first, then
Then
Final
Final
Fantasy, then Castlevania.
Castlevania. Okay. Has that list evolved over the years for you, or has that been like
Set in stone.
forever?
It's been pretty set in stone. Metroid squeezes its way in. I think Metroid would probably be in there if it had more games.
A close fourth.
Yeah, very close fourth. I'm a big Metroid fan.
I would also agree with that for myself as well. Like, if they put out a new, like, main series Metroid game, instant buy.
Yeah.
They're supposed to put out Prime 4,
Yeah,
Well, they're working on it,
supposedly.
allegedly.
apparently.
Devotedly.
Okay. So,
Shockingly.
in the Zelda series, what's your best sellers?
Best sellers.
Minish Cap.
Minish Cap is great.
It is great.
never
I
beat Minish Cap.
adore Minish Cap. The sprite art in that game, fucking good. Music in that game, fucking good.
Yeah.
So much good shit in that game.
Mm-hmm. But
Sword moves you can learn. Final boss, fucking difficult. I love hard Zelda bosses because they're not hard to me. And when one kicks my ass, it makes me really happy.
But
But
Best Buys.
best, like, what do you mean, like best buys?
Going back to Danny's question. Like, what are your...
Like what is define best buys? Because I buy them when they come
No,
out,
you-
regardless.
Like, what's your top 3 favorite Zelda games?
Oh, ooh.
What defines
did-
what puts Zelda so high up on the list for you?
We're getting a sub 3 on 3.
Let's see. I'm gonna be that guy and say Ocarina.
Okay.
As 3 or 1?
As one. Ocarina of Time 3D. Because it has a boss rush mode. And I love Zelda 3D boss fights. They're like one of my favorite things in gaming. Albeit they're not the best, which I know there are people out there who are going to get really upset about because there's a lot of people who hate the 3D Zelda boss fights, and that's fair. But there's something about them that just makes me really happy and really excited.
They're pretty high. I love the music to them too.
Mm-hmm. Especially they got them right in Skyward Sword. They're really good in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna put. They made a list. Actually, it's actually on the computer we're using to record it now. I can look it up sometime, but off the top of my head, I'll say Wind Waker's second,
Okay.
just because
I know you're a huge fan of that one.
there's no better feeling Zelda game combat wise to me. Link's kid in that game is so freaking absurd. Like, You can ask Danny. Like, I would like boot that game up and just run the Savage Labyrinth like daily.
It's a 50-floor dungeon.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not 100% sure what that is,
Yeah,
but
it's
okay.
just floor after floor of just endless combat.
And I
There's
would destroy it.
zero
like,
puzzles.
there's-
Just combat.
It's literally just like, all right, here's a room with like 6 dark nuts. Have fun. I'm just like, yeah, let's do this.
It's the gauntlet.
It is. And then you knock their helmet off, and you sit there and you hookshot them in the face, and it chips their health away, but they can't move because they're sunlocked.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just keep on like, Just, it looks so dumb. I love it.
Yeah.
Probably third would be Majora's Mask.
Okay.
Majora's Mask is really good.
Majora's Mask over Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword then.
Breath of the Wild is middle of the list. For everything I think that is genius and great about that game, there are some stupidly, glaringly
Bad choices.
I don't understand why some things in that game exist, like rain. Like, Breath of the Wild took something I love, which is rain, and it made me hate it. As well as Zelda combat made me hate it.
I hate to do this while you're talking about Zelda. Are you saying you don't like rain time?
Right
No.
now, it's rain time.
Okay, first off, we live in Nevada, in Las Vegas. It is never rain time.
It is always rain time. Now it's
Are you talking about Ryan?
Yes.
Now it's Ryan time?
Yes.
Because it's always Ryan
He's,
time.
he's playing off of this.
I know.
Okay. Now it's rain
Because
time.
now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a custom Fitbit watch plate that's just Ryan. It just says now it's Ryan time.
You need
Good.
to do that.
Good.
Yeah, rain sucks.
Rain is okay, so it's like, all right, literally 75% of your movement in that game is climbing over shit. And it's really satisfying to do. It's really fun to do. It's fun to like puzzle your way up a cliff to find a way to get to your destination, sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
But then when rain comes, you can't do it. It's all right, cool. Here's here's a problem. All right, what are my solutions that I can do to fix this? All right, I can make a campfire and wait and pass the time for the rain to go by. Well, there's not a lot of cover in that game, so I can't make a fire because the rain's going to put it out. So I can't wait. I can try and call a horse to ride around, which I guess that's fine. Horse riding's nice in that game.
You probably ride out of the storm.
That is true. There are like weather systems in that, but at the same time, it's still I need to divert myself. I have to disequip metal items if it's a thunderstorm, so I have to like stop what I'm doing.
Which are admittedly rare, though.
I don't know.
There's an area where it's a perma thunderstorm.
Well, yeah, there's that one, but there's like it happened more often when it rained. It was like 50-50 for me.
Okay.
But that's just the rain.
There's
but
one final option, which is the one that I did.
What was that?
Rivali's Gale. That just shoots you up
I know,
half
but
a mile
I don't
into
want to
the
have
sky.
to waste that. Like I hate having to spend resources like that when I don't have to, and when it has like, in the scheme of things, it's not a very long cooldown compared
It's
to the other
very
ones.
short compared to the other ones.
But it's still like I see it's like what a 5 or 6 minute one, and to me, I'm just like, I don't. That's
If it means giving Rain a big middle finger, I'll gladly Rivali's Gale every chance I get.
that's fair. I could be I'll be stubborn about it.
So, just to put things in perspective, folks, between the two of you, combined hours for Breath of the Wild, probably like 3,000?
No, God no.
I went through the game once and got everything, all the Korok seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Before there were any online guides or anything, I got collector's edition, which came with a map that had, it was a pretty big fold-out map, but it had little specs where all 800,
No, 900.
900 Korok seeds were.
Mm-hmm.
And I systematically went through and found every single one. This is before you had the Korok seed mask that would indicate when one's nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Took a long, long time,
So,
but
like 500 hours?
No,
still no.
90. His clock's at like 90 on it.
Yeah.
And then yours.
150 because I played through it like 3 times.
So, about 250 hours-ish
Yes.
for all you people out there.
It's not a lot of time, but I did all the base game stuff,
Yeah.
which is my usual. I usually finish a game before they put out any extra content. Rise being a nice exception
Mhm.
because stuff was already done and they just waited. But
Having to find certain parts of Rise is disgusting.
okay, and what about? So that's middle of your list. What about Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword? Because I know you love Skyward Sword.
I do love Skyward Sword. It's funny. I've noticed that creatives really like Skyward Sword, and very logical people dislike Skyward Sword. But Skyward Sword's high. I think Girahim is one of my favorite villains ever. The music in that game is great. Boss fights are really good. I love the directional combat. It could use some improvement, but it's still good.
Very unique at the time.
Well, actually, the different sword ways you can swing, that's always been in there. You could always do it.
Yeah. I'm talking about aiming with the sword specifically. You could.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it had like the 8-way with it. You could do the guns.
You could, yeah.
Which was still loved it.
Even on the Wii with the Motion Plus, like it felt very responsive.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the one time I was playing, and I was fighting Girahim, and you were in the room with me, and you pointed out.
Oh yeah, because when you fight Girahim, keep this in mind, folks, because I never want you to forget this. His crotch is just so well lit for no reason.
Luminescent.
It is, and it's glorious. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Hey, Danny, look at that dick right there. Look at his crotch. There's so much light on it." Danny's like, "I don't want this." So he was able to, the entire fight, he just kept Link's sword blocking Girahim's crotch at every single point. It was the funniest shit.
If only we could be so gloriously incandescent.
Yes.
To quote Dark Souls.
Okay. And then
Twilight
Princess. That one's gone up for me recently because I used to not like that game a lot.
It's a little edgy.
It's got
Midna.
It's a little muddy. Oh, I love
Midna's good. I think I used to think the boss fights were total ass. You could ask Danny about all the conversations we had about this back in our early years of our friendship. The dungeons in that game are fucking phenomenal. I'd argue they're the best 3D Zelda dungeons.
They are really good.
They're really good. They're challenging. They're long. The theming is fucking awesome. The music is creepy. Like the first two like note hits in the Goron Mines and the Lake Bed Temple. Eerie as fuck. The first time I heard him sent like a shiver down my spine. Loved it. Loved that shit to death. I still will go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dungeons are really good. The boss music is spectacular. The music in that game overall is spectacular.
Ganondorf's never been more badass.
Yeah, best Ganondorf, hands down.
Except for the fight. But
yeah.
Because that one, the final boss fight with that one is him it's a 3D big pig Ganon.
Oh, that's
right?
part of it.
That's one of the forms, yeah. And
and then there's
First he possesses Zelda.
Yep.
Then he's a boar. Then you fight him on horseback, which sucked.
Yeah.
Then you fight him
as God.
he just, it's one-on-one, straight up.
Yeah.
And he walks at you. You're just like,
what do you do with this?
Like there's this giant middle-aged Ganondorf that's just gonna beat my ass. Daddy Dwarf, don't do it.
I think the fighting possessed Zelda fight was super scary. Because I can't hit this person. How am I supposed to fight this?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's so much good in that game.
The combat feels really smooth.
So what I'm gathering from this conversation for you, and for all you people to help kind of visualize this a little bit, we're not saying one game is a 10, one game is a 9, 8, so on and so forth. This is 10 to 9.3.
Pretty much.
And so it's just it's that scale.
That's why it's top of his list.
Exactly.
Now,
please don't ask the same question about Final Fantasy because we'll be here for 3 hours.
Top 2 Final Fantasy games.
2 Final Fantasies, 15 and 4.
15 and 4.
And 4.
Wow. I'm surprised. I would have expected 10.
For 15.
Really?
Yeah, you're big.
I do like 10 a lot. It's not. It might be top 5.
For 15, is it? This might come off as a weird question. Is it number 1 on your list before or without or including the DLCs?
Including the DLC and with it fixed and all the stuff they've added. Because you can ask him. I hated that game the first time I beat it.
Yeah.
It was bad time.
So you like the the whole package.
Yeah, the I don't want to call it like a universe.
The complete
Like,
edition.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things that's like, I could completely understand someone just playing 15 by itself and not caring for it, but it's like, I've watched Kingsglaive.
Yep.
I've beaten the game twice. I platinumed the game. I've beaten all the DLCs. I have the fucking book that finishes the story, which I still need to go through and read.
For the record, I never played it. I watched pretty much the entirety of the game, as well as the DLCs. The only DLC I might not have watched entirely was Arden's. But even with that in mind, hands down, favorite DLC for me will always be Iggy's.
Iggy's is good.
Iggy's is so good.
And then they added it where you could play as them. And Ignis is just broken because you just here's how you win with Ignis. All right, you turn your daggers to lightning.
Yep.
And you hold circle, and you just teleport around the battlefield like an asshole and just hit shit. You don't get hit.
You're basically freaking Mithra in Smash with that one move. Ugh,
Good times.
fuck
But,
you, Danny. I had to say it in the first episode.
We played Smash the other day.
I had a terrible day.
Oh,
It was a bad Smash day for me.
so you got smashed in Smash.
Extremely,
Okay.
horrendously.
For the record, backtracking a little, I feel similarly about Final Fantasy 13. If anyone were to play through it and be like, I hate this game, it sucks, I can't even fault him for it. But I sat there and read the entire stupid compendium and made sense of all of it they were talking about from the beginning. So when they're sitting there saying, oh, Fal'Cie, Lassie, oh, this, I was able to follow along, and it made the game way more fun for me.
It's like, I started playing it like 2 years ago, and I got like maybe 6 hours in before something else happened.
Mhm.
But it's like, I didn't even like go through the primer stuff, and it felt easy enough to parse,
Yeah, you can figure it out if you're invested. But
It's
a
like
lot
the-
of people have small gripes about the game.
It's like, that's one I do want to go back through and play at some point in my life. Because I'm already, like, it didn't click when it came out, because I was like too young to comprehend it. But then like when I was going through it, this last time, because I remember the first time, I was like, Lightning's a bitch, Snow's an idiot, Fang is just someone who hits people with the wrong side of her lance, which I still think is great. Hope's a little pissant baby, just stuff like that.
Vanille has ball in a cups on antlers.
And she makes sex noises.
This is true.
But it's like, playing through, like, recently, I was like, well, everyone is, like, behaving as, like, you would expect them to be in this kind of shitty situation that they're thrust into. So I was like, no, this is actually really
Acceptable.
good and, like, decently put together so far. And I'm, like, gelling with it.
Yeah, it's like the game doesn't tell you right off the bat everyone's motivation, but it eventually does. And the choices they make,
Yeah.
the things they say and do,
The punches
all
they
make
throw as well.
sense.
Well,
Definitely the punches they
Yeah.
throw.
See, that's the thing. Like, as a side, small tangent, to me, that's a good story.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
I agree.
not specifically about 13. I'm talking about anything.
Yeah, just
Where it's like, you have this cast. It could pertain to 13. It could pertain to Crosscode. It could pertain to the fucking Friends, the TV show.
Motivation is everything.
And it's like, you don't know these characters right off the bat. Unless it's a sequel. But even then, you don't know the characters' motivations, decisions, why they do shit they do. But over time, you find out why. You find out, whenever a motherly figure gets mentioned in, like, a wartime scenario, this character gets a little sobby. And, if you don't understand that, it's like, oh, what a bitch.
Mhm.
And then you find out, that's why.
How do you know that name?
Look.
How do you know that name, John?
Her name was Martha!
Oh, God. God. So many times I'll come over to my parents' house. They're watching Justice League. Like 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Anyway.
It was so... Back to Final Fantasy, 15 well, it has a really special place in my heart. There's a couple nice little nods that I haven't seen in a Final Fantasy since like 9.
Random side note. I can't even remember the name of what they're called, but like Leviathan, Fenrir, or sorry, Ifrit.
Summons.
The summons.
The Idolians.
The Idolians. In 15, the way they're represented. The first time I saw the Leviathan scene, fuck me, dude.
I hate Leviathan. I hate water dragons, specifically because of Skyward Sword. Fuck that bitch. Because every time there's a water dragon, they're just like, hey, you're the chosen hero, and I should help you because that's, what a deity should do. But I don't think you're worthy, even though the deity above me says that you are the savior to everything. And I love that fight in 15 because Noctis literally just fucking tears Leviathan apart and is like, you will fucking listen to me, you fucking worthless little dragon shit.
I am the fucking king.
I am the king of kings. I am going to do the prophecy shit. Fuck your ass. You're my bitch now. I don't like Leviathan.
That's fair.
So it's funny. So actually, the night 15 came out, I was hanging out with my buddy Jimmy, and he was installing it. And while we were waiting, we went out to go get some canes for dinner. Mm-hmm. So he turned off his TV, which we didn't know turned off his PS4 during the install. So,
oh no!
So we come back, we turn it on, and it turns back on, and we think everything's going normal. So we start up the game, and I'm watching him play, and it's just this tutorial with Noctis, who I will always say looks a lot like our lovely editor Ian, which he's probably cursing me for right now. But I love you, Ian. So it's just Noctis running around this room with no music, just hitting shit. And I'm just like, this is really weird. And so,
oh no,
we get to the cutscene at the very beginning where they're all fighting Ifrit.
Yeah.
No sound effects except their voices. Oh, so it's literally just these grunts. Just like, can't talking about. And we're sitting there just like, something wrong with this man. So like, the game starts, still no music. Like half the sound effects are missing, and Jimmy tries to like save it, and it won't let him save it. It's like unable to save game, and Jimmy's like, what is going on? It was like, then we realized like, oh shit, it turned off during the install.
Yeah.
So we just were like, well, we're not playing this anymore, so we started playing Resident Evil 7.
That's fair. Go, welcome to the family, son!
Yeah. That game was a good time.
Yeah. The DLCs were interesting. Got to watch some people punch the mold monsters. Anyway. So, it was Final Fantasies 15 and
4.
4.
Which 4 is like the first RPG I ever really played.
Fair enough.
So that's just kind of like the first Final Fantasy I played too.
Yeah.
I think the story in that one's really good. As I said, playing through it again right now. Really enjoying it. Yeah. With that one, Battle with the Four Fiends, great song, iconic fights from the franchise.
Yeah.
All around good time.
Yeah. I want them to make another 1v1 Dissidia. I miss playing that with you, Danny.
Dissidia was such a fun time.
So, we know one of your 3.
That's right.
What are the other 2? But for the sake of saying it, what is the first one?
Grabbed by the Ghoulies, of course.
Uh-huh. No judgment.
It was just so much fun. Do you remember when I went into the room and then the ghoulie came out and I kicked him? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Shivers.
That was iconic. Hey, remember that time you couldn't find the fire?
Oh, how could I forget?
It was right there.
It was right.
I was pointing at it the entire fucking time you were in that room.
It was right nowhere. But for real though, Super Smash Brothers, of course, will forever be top of the list.
Yeah.
Bro, you've lost friends over that game though.
Yeah. Even if I that's the end of that. Even if
we're not gonna elaborate.
Even if they put out the next Smash and it's like the worst game ever made,
you'd still play it.
It would not tarnish the series' reputation for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know if Danny would say it, but I will say it. Screw anyone that says that it's not a fighter.
Oh, that That's an old silly debate. They try and say it's a party game. That's not really a genre. It's
What about Mario Party?
untraditional. That's a mini game.
Fair. Okay.
It's a minigame dice board
Yeah.
game, essentially.
It's an unconventional fighting game, at worst.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought with Smash 4, it couldn't get any better. On the Wii U, that game was solid. And I didn't think before that any game was going to beat 2, Melee.
Mhm.
Imagine my surprise when 4 came out and beat Melee.
Yep.
And then imagine my surprise further when Ultimate came out
Yep.
and beat 4. I like this trend. I honestly can't see how they could possibly improve on the formula any more than they already have.
I'm worried that the only thing that could ruin Smash or make it less appealing. I do not remember developers. Is it Ifune?
Sakurai?
Is it Sakurai?
Sakurai.
If he steps down, I feel like that could seriously hinder Smash.
I think he is hurting himself working on it so
He
hard.
is.
Correct. But I will say that I think he is the main driving force for it.
Unless you're talking about Minecraft Steve, because he didn't want Minecraft Steve.
I don't know. He seemed
In his,
pretty optimistic in that video during the direct.
Not compared to the rest of it. All the other videos, he's like, yeah, I didn't want this character. Anyway, Smash 5
Number 1.
is the best Smash game.
Mhm.
I have friends that still play Melee, and I look at them like, I love Melee, don't get me wrong, but why are you playing that when 5 exists?
Well, they're probably not playing base Melee.
They're playing Slippy.
Project M.
Yeah, not Project M.
Did
It
Project
is-
M stop?
No, that's still going. But you can play Melee online.
Got it. I think you told me about that once.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're playing that. Anyway, my second, years ago, I would have said World of Warcraft.
I feel like I know what the answer to this one is. I won't say it. Is it Crosscode?
I did consider that. That game is one of my favorites of all time. As I say every time it's brought up. If it's franchise, though,
Yeah.
I might have to take into games with series would have more weight. If Crosscode was a series,
Yeah.
oh boy,
Wouldn't it classify as a franchise?
yeah,
So I mean, you could put it on the list.
I could, but running series will
Okay.
have more weight
Okay.
because it's not by game but by franchise.
Sure.
So I would probably say Final Fantasy. I'm not as big on them as you are, Kevin, but they are always fun to play.
Except for Tactics.
No, Tactics is fun. It's just very boring. I want to sleep when I play that.
You should play it before going to bed every night.
If you want a story-heavy story, read a book. I want gameplay that's fun and a story. I'm asking for a lot.
Yes, you are.
I would give it to Metroid just because of the Prime series. I did like Fusion a lot as well.
And Zero Mission?
Zero Mission, not as much.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. But, man, I love Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I do like Pikmin. I love Pikmin.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do.
you know what? It has to go to Mario.
Which one are you replacing?
I'm redacting. I'm gonna redact Final Fantasy for Mario.
Okay. Because, God damn, did you beat the 3 collection,
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah,
In
tore that
2
thing,
days.
Yeah, you tore that thing's asshole wide open, dude.
I love me some platformers in general.
because for the record, it's Super Mario 64,
Mhm.
Mario Sunshine,
Yeah.
and
Galaxy.
Galaxy 1.
Yes.
And what was your beat time for all 3? It was like 2 or 3 days, wasn't it?
No, it took a little longer, with work and all that, but it was very quick. I beat Mario 64 in
Like 4 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
We did that on the channel even.
we did.
Sunshine. To be fair, I looked up guides for the blue coins because I'm not gonna search those out.
Mm.
That's a fool's errand.
Plus, you didn't have a map to systematically find them all.
That game needs a map desperately, and it also needs to be completed. If I'm being honest, but Galaxy was a lot of fun. After playing all three, though, I realized that I liked 64 more than Galaxy.
Yeah.
I went in thinking the opposite, but
Yeah. Now, I'm going to pull the question on you in regards to Mario.
Mhm.
Top 3
Odyssey, hands down,
as number 1.
yes.
Number
There's
2.
no comparison. The controls are so far above the other Mario games, and the
Mhm.
other Mario games are just great
Yeah.
already.
Number 2.
I'm gonna say Mario 64 for number 2.
And then number 3.
That's gonna be Galaxy 2,
Okay.
which unfortunately was not as fun of a hub world as Galaxy 1.
Mm.
The observatory was fantastic.
Right.
As opposed to Patrick Star
Uh-huh.
and on the face ship, which is actually what it's called because it's Mario's face.
Sure.
It's technically his head. But
Well, he calls it a face ship. But those 3 games, love them.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to blank on the name of it.
Hotel Mario.
That game is good.
I can't tell if you're being facetious or not.
What was it? Mario RPG?
On Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I did not own a Super Nintendo growing up, so I was able to play that system later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to it, the graphics are hideous to me. I cannot grasp Super Nintendo games for that reason.
Fair.
It's very strange to me. It's like Donkey Kong Country is like the ugliest game I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the textures just look super smudgy.
But
then
again,
again-
it's what it was back then.
Yeah.
Which is it's surprising because I think you would adore countries 1 through 3, especially 2 and 3.
I've played through at least one of them. I think the first one.
You need to play 2, dude.
Virtual consoled it. But and they control great, but it's just like I'm looking at like so this is going to be a little off topic, but whenever you're hanging out at my house, we'll often go through the Switch
eShop, yes.
eShop and just look at games on sale, just games that we haven't seen before, because they do a lot of shovelware, just really crappy stuff thrown together. And so we'll look at them, but we can look at a game and be like, this is going to be pixel art, isn't it? Like
Pixel art! That's what
like
we say whenever we see it.
8-bit pixel art. And like the picture on the cover looks really good, just like all the NES cartridges. It's like, this looks really interesting. So we click on it, load it up, and then the first picture is just like almost Atari level pixels. And it's just like, I can't even tell what I'm looking at on the screen. I see the character, and they're obviously in a house.
Of some kind.
Past that, I have no idea. Well, there's that horror game that we saw on the shop.
Oh, Crypt of the Serpent.
That's a fun adventure game for all ages. No, the horror
For
game,
all the wrong reasons.
it was like a pixel game, but it was a horror game, and like you see like a neck and a white face like turn around or
Oh,
something.
yeah. I
But,
don't remember
like,
what it's called.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either. But it was just like, this would probably be scarier if I was able to piece it together better. Like, don't get me wrong, when it comes to horror, like your imagination should be doing like 80% of the work, and that's what makes it psychologically scary.
Yeah.
But I can't be doing 99% of the work, Pixel game. You gotta give me more than this.
Yeah.
It's like reading like a ghost saying boo, like reading it. It's like, that's not gonna scare me. Like in text.
Got it. That took me a second.
Yeah.
Because before you said like reading it, I'm just trying to imagine like trying to read a real life ghost. Or like see a real life ghost say boo.
Mhm.
When ghosts don't exist.
There's an episode of Futurama where Bender dies and is haunting Fry, and he makes a deal with the robot devil. If he scares him to death, if he kills Fry, he's able to come back.
Okay.
So he's trying his best to. He learns he can possess electronics. So he's just making Fry's life hell, basically. At one point, Fry's making toast, and one piece pops up and it says "bo" on it, and Fry like looks at it like,
Oh.
and then the second one pops up and it's "oh!" exclamation point. And then Fry like lurches back like, "oh god!" And just like, it's completely off topic, but
Yeah.
hilarious to me.
Fair enough.
It's funny because it wouldn't be scary.
So on a semi-related note, if we want to dive into this, most hated games. If you were done going on about your favorites, Danny, I don't want to cut you off.
Most hated. Because I typically don't hate games. I've
About games that disappointed you. How about that?
Ooh, for most hated, I would have put Atelier Ryza 2 on there. Not because I hated it, but because it left zero impression. But I didn't feel for it enough. I didn't have any expectations going in, so it's not the most disappointing. The most disappointing game for me is Brawl.
Yeah, Brawl was pretty.
Coming off of Melee, I was so hyped, and I literally had like a calendar countdown for months waiting for this game to come out. Playing Melee every day.
Going on the dojo too.
Going on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every single thing. Oh, here's 30 seconds of a...
Go KK Rider. You remember when they announced that shit?
No, for me it was Ridley's theme, like Metal Ridley from Prime, and then Yoshi's Island remix or something. I was just like, whew, whew. And then the very first time I booted it up, it took 10 seconds and I was like, oh no, something's off.
So there's no... I'm kind of similar to Danny. Despite how I come off about certain games, I don't legitimately hate really any game.
Not even Sonic Boom?
I didn't hate it.
Bounce Pad.
I am just not a fan of it. Personally.
But Bounce Pad.
Bounce Pad.
But the point is that I don't hate it.
Okay.
What about Bounce Pad?
So you're saying is you'd like to play it again? Because then maybe you could form a better opinion of it.
I don't hate it. I definitely don't want to play it again.
But Bounce Pad.
And in regards to disappointment, those two topics are not supposed to be tied together, but I guess you can. I'm not really disappointed in a game. I'm disappointed in a concept.
Okay.
The biggest disappointment for me is when a game was not properly done right. For example, I can name like 2 or 3 off the top of my head. And it's usually when they're first released. Diablo 3.
Very fair.
Cyberpunk.
Oh, absolutely fair.
Anthem.
is another one. I didn't play it, but my God, did I hear about people having problems with it. Because there was someone I was talking to at work when it came out. He really tried to sell me on the game, you know, even despite the problems and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, I hear you. I've seen the gameplay. The concept of the game is amazing. But it has so many negatives that Destiny had.
I enjoyed it quite a bit myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't long-lived because of its issues, but it was fun.
And so it's that idea of that kind of disappointment that is my answer to the disappointment question.
Okay.
Not any game really in particular is in itself a disappointment because again, the games that are following that caveat have the intent of being a good game.
Would you put the new WoW expansion on the disappointing list. Because to be disappointed, you have to have expectations. And for it to have ended up just becoming a reskin, whatever new mechanics they promised are not new after all, would you say that you would consider that as a disappointment?
I would consider it in the same vein as like Cyberpunk.
You believe they can fix it
Yes.
in this expansion?
Yes. I believe they could have fixed it at any point. But they have other factors driving why they go about the things that they're going about. Things that are obviously not in the public light. I'm willing to bet. Because don't get me wrong, I love me some Sylvanas.
But
It's the fact that they are, and don't get me wrong, right? It is a constantly active game, and so they don't want to, for lack of better terms, blow their load all at once, and so they try to space it out with a timetable. However, it's the fact that over the years, the quality of the gameplay that they have been putting out with each expansion has been getting less substantial. And so it's like the fact that there are people who are able to get to max level in like 6 hours after it goes live,
That's not good.
to me, that is a reflection of the state of the game. Because there are people that can just be like, I don't care about the story. I want to get this achievement. Cool, great. Why does it only take 6 hours?
okay.
And that's why I would throw it in the same vein. I want to see WoW be better. I want to see WoW do good. Because I love the story. People will shit on its story for days. I love what they're doing with Sylvanas. I love what they're doing with the Jailer. I thought when this expansion was announced, it was going to be amazing. I love the story. I don't like the execution. No pun intended.
It's fair. I would also add the Avengers game that came out recently to my list.
I agree.
I enjoy it quite a bit, and I've played and beaten it, and I've gotten pretty deep into the post game. It's very unpolished, and they're working on it, but not fast enough to keep me hooked.
Yeah.
How about you, Kevin?
Oh man. Recently Cyberpunk. Then again, that's a lot of people.
It was unplayable. You had it on PlayStation 4.
On the PS4 Pro.
So
So
it
it
was-
should have been playable at the very least.
However, and we've talked about this when it came out, the fact that, again, ladies and gentlemen, he has a PS4 Pro. A Pro. He was only able to play it for like half an hour and then it crashed. Every time.
I would look at doors. I would try to change my radio station. And the game would just hard lock. I hit a kid on the street, or maybe it was a short person, I don't know. But my game crashed when that happened.
And so, so here's the thing too, and we've had, as part of the conversation we've had in regards to that. I played it on PC. I don't have those problems. I don't have any of those problems. But it's the fact that they exist on consoles that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Or on a different version.
Yeah.
per se.
And it's just like, that's not right. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like the optimization of that and how they should have handled that. That's its own rabbit hole. Say a Pokemon Sword for me.
Did you have high expectations?
I usually because I really enjoyed Sun and Moon, like a lot. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby in particular, that was my favorite. Still is my favorite. But yeah, I haven't been able to get through Sword and Shield, as we saw on the channel. I didn't. I made it. I beat the third gym.
Mhm.
The first time around, and I was like, I do not enjoy this game at all, so I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a pretty cool concept, that open field thing.
It
which
did.
It didn't end up being as fun in execution for me personally, but that new one, was it Arceus?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly seems to expand on the idea and make a whole game out of it. So, with it just being its own thing, it will likely be much more fun
Mhm.
than just.
I'm hoping so.
Cautiously optimistic.
If the entire world map in Sword and Shield was a WoW area, except for the towns, I think that would have been better. I know it would have done away with the traditional Route 1, Route 2, but Milton agrees. I will say about Pokemon Shield and Sword, they had the foresight to put Machop in.
To which
That's
you could
true.
have, as was indicated on the channel, Punch City!
Mhm.
Literally, when the game was being announced, I don't know if it was the initial trailer or one of the later ones, but they showed, like, I think a Machop or a Machamp in the field, just walking around. I was immediately like, that's it. That's my party. I'm gonna take a Machamp through the entire game.
And as was said, I think, several times during that Pokemon Sword playthrough, that's my boy!
That's my boy.
That's my son! Yeah.
That's my boy.
Um,
City.
we say that a lot.
Yeah.
We say that a lot, just in general.
It's a great line.
It's a sad scene.
Yeah,
But
It's
a great, line.
line.
great line. It's my son.
That's my boy!
Any other video game
Disappointments?
disappointments?
Final Fantasy 15 when it came out,
That's fair.
Which was then
it
overturned.
was super overturned. River City Girls last year,
My
no, the
roommate
year before.
really liked that one.
It did not click well for me at all. It's like, it's weird because when I played it with Josh, your roommate, I enjoyed it. Then I tried showing it to Mark, and we played it, and it was just not fun. And we were both getting very angry and frustrated with it. So,
Wonder what the difference was.
and I don't know because Mark's really good at beat 'em ups.
Huh.
So
I'm not.
then again, personally, I don't like beat 'em ups, so that could attribute to that. But then again, I really do like Double Dragon Neon.
That's kind of a special case.
Yeah. Streets of Rage 4 was really good too.
Yeah, beat-ups were never really my thing. I never got into them. Personally.
I remember I hated Persona 3 in high school because Mark wouldn't stop talking about it.
I mean...
It doesn't really make it a disappointment.
It doesn't make... That's right. I went back to the most hated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. No, for clarification, I don't think it's a bad game at all. It's just Mark would not shut up about it. And he still apologizes to me, like, to this day about it. It's like, I'm like, no, it's cool, man. Like,
It's messed up, Mike.
I don't hold anything against him for it. I think the game's really cool now. Except for Yukari. She got me killed one time. And I didn't come back after that.
Yeah. I... Regrettably... Like, I know that both of the other two people at the table both love Persona 5. As well as Golden. Royale, sorry. And then you guys also demolished the Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh, so
I
got a decent way into it.
But either way, I didn't even finish the original 5. And, by no means did I think it was a bad game. It's just, I think something else came out that grabbed my attention more.
I can tell you where my interest stopped in that game. As I always tell Danny, because he really likes Futaba.
Uh-huh.
But then you finish you finish your dungeon,
Sure.
and then it just starts this chunk of the story, which is like a moment of respite. Or
Okay.
respite. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but for the characters,
Mhm.
and it's It's appropriate, you know. You said a really big climatic scene, and you know, have a nice some nice downtime.
Wait. Is this the pool scene?
I don't even know if it got to the pool scene. They were just like, we need to take this shy mousy girl to the beach.
Got it.
And I was just like, oh my god, I do not care. I do not care about her. I do not care about this.
Mhm.
You spend like an entire week
At the beach.
reacclimating her to outside life because she became a hermit.
Mhm.
Uh,
Because she's the orange hair
Yeah.
girl, right? Yeah.
She's a Dr. Venture's kid.
so you kind of
What?
What's it? Shojiro. He just looks like Dr. Venture.
Ian, can we get a side by side comparison, please?
Sure.
I see it. Anyway,
I don't, because I'm not actively looking at it, but sure.
you will see it.
I mean, you're probably right.
As Danny talks, I'll just pull up a picture of it.
So she obviously spends most of her life inside. She doesn't go outside.
Mhm.
So now that she's joined the party, you're like, well, we need to
Make you a person
make
again.
you go outside. You need to. And so the whole week is devoted. You can't go anywhere, do anything. It's just today I'm gonna go to a store. I won't even order anything. I'll just be in the store.
Yep. I see it. I see it now.
Thank you, Ian. Well, it all leads up to let's go to the beach. And it's not interesting at all.
I didn't get to the beach.
Persona likes to do a lot of these cliche moments. Co-ed bathhouses.
Mm.
Oh no, it's the girls' turn and we're still here.
Quick, let's hide in the water.
Let's have a whole scene about trying to avoid getting caught
Was that a scene that actually happened?
in 4 different Persona games. In Persona Strikers, it happens twice. There's 2 separate bathhouse scenes in Persona Strikers.
I think I remember watching one happen at your house, and I remember Futaba was saying just the cringiest shit
Yeah.
during the entire thing.
Yes.
And it's to my understanding that she's nowhere near that bad in the base game.
In Persona 5, she has glimpses of her saying cringy dialogue.
Which is to be expected with her, you know,
But she's
the way she was
socially-
brought up.
Yes, she's socially awkward. She's an indoors cat.
Mhm.
So in Strikers, this is after Persona 5. It's a sequel. She no longer has the damaged shyness about her. Now she's just straight outgoing. So it's all just the cringiest. And it's like, I really liked Futaba in 5. I cannot stand her in Strikers. 98% of the things she says is so terrible.
In Strikers.
Groan-inducing. Terrible.
Yeah.
And
Could you put a
it's
counter on how many times I just said you're fucking awful, Futaba?
pretty much every time she has a line. Because I was doing it too. I was like,
Please stop.
look what they did to my boy.
Yeah. That's why you just killed Matt Mercer's character all the way.
Who?
Blue hair. Cat mask.
Oh, Mr. Caricature of an Artist.
Mhm.
Yusuke?
Mr. Artist Man.
Yusuke.
Yep.
He was also demoted in Strikers to talking about, not that he really had much more engaging dialogue in 5, but he was talking about how hungry he is and that whatever is directly in front of him would make a good painting.
Oh, so he's the starving artist.
Yes, that is literally the only 2 things he ever talks about. The only person that grows as a character, or that ascended beyond themselves in 5, was Ryuji, because he just got angrier and louder.
Yeah, I feel like the bar wasn't too high for him though in
He was
5.
He's a moron, but he was a great character.
Yeah.
He was
Is he like that picture of Joey where it just says, I may be stupid?
That's pretty much exactly what it was in the original game.
Yeah.
He's less stupid in Strikers,
Right.
but he's also angrier and louder, and it's just the best thing.
Good.
Not angry. He's louder.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have another disappointment game. Final Fantasy 12.
I also have a disappointment game, but
12 is easily my least favorite Final Fantasy.
yeah, I would. I'd agree with you there. Did not enjoy most of 12 at all.
So most of my enjoyment came from the party setup I had, which was just based around buffing Bosch to be this monster that killed everything in 1 or 2 hits, and playing the game at 4 times speed. Or it was more like, I think it was at 2, but I just ran through and he would just murder everything in 1 hit.
Okay, so to clarify, you're playing the newer version that had
Yes.
4 times speed.
Oh no, I'm not going to try and play the original.
I played
version.
the original as far as I did, and it was boring. The main character sucks.
There's so many Final Fantasy games that I don't know anything
Which main
about.
character are you talking about? Vaughn
the
or
one that you start with.
Balthier, who proclaims himself to be the leading man.
You
Unpopular
know,
opinion, I fucking hate Balthier.
I think he's okay.
If you had not pronounced it, his name is Vaughn, I would have said his name is Van.
You know which one we're talking about, though?
Not really.
Do you know Fran?
Oh, Bunny Girl?
Yep.
I know about her.
There you go. It's that game.
Yeah.
So
That tells me nothing about the game, but sure.
this game came after 11, obviously. 11 was an MMO.
No.
Yeah. 11's an MMO.
So 11. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. 11 was an MMO that was then
You want these?
was then sequeled. The MMO, like the MMO part, was sequeled by 14, right?
No.
Standalone.
No, whatever.
14 sequeled itself.
I mean, sure, by expansions.
No, they shut down the base,
The base
game.
game.
That's right.
But so
Followed by 11, obviously.
it still had so much of the influence of 11, which is an MMO. And that MMO is slow and boring,
Sure.
in my opinion.
Okay.
It's slow, fact, but it's boring, in my opinion.
It's very chill MMO.
Okay.
So what made 12 unique was you could set basically parameters, if X then Y in combat, and you had a whole list of them. If enemy has less than 50% health, use this spell. So you can go through and cast everything yourself. It's all happening in real time. You can go through and cast it manually, or you can set it up, and if you were good at it, you could just make your characters behave very intelligently. If ally has poison, cast cure or whatever. If ally below percent health, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Never been done in a Final Fantasy game. Up to that point, they've all been.
It was a really interesting system. Like it was really fun to mess around with.
Yeah.
They also had the system where you could not equip any gear unless you
Had the license for
you
it.
needed the license for it, which you get license points by fighting. And then you go to your skill tree, and then you choose which way in the skill tree to progress. So there's like a gear area.
Okay.
So you can, the tutorial says, hey, here's a nice starting level hat. Go ahead and equip that. And you put on there like, whoa, you don't have the license points to equip that hat.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go kill a monster. So you go kill one, and then you can level it up and earn the ability to wear a hat. But if you're going down the equipment tree, you're not going down the stat tree. If you're not going down either of those trees, you're not going down the magic tree. So they kind of stay bunched together. So you kind of choose a little, go which way you can.
Mm-hmm.
Did not like that game at all.
That's why.
And then I got to bring this up. This is the dumbest decision I think Final Fantasy's ever made. The Ultima weapons.
Oh, this is awful. Yeah, no, I'd agree with you on this.
I don't know why they thought this. To get one of the characters' ultimate weapons.
No, it's the best weapon in the game.
To get the ultimate weapon. There's a lot of things you have to do throughout the game. Missables and stuff. So you have to know ahead of time.
Okay.
For some reason, among the missables, if you open specific chests, it locks you out of getting that. And it doesn't tell you that. It won't tell you. It doesn't tell you that you messed up. You just can't get it. And my brother had the guide to the game, the official Prima guide, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where you land on a beach, and there's like 8 treasure chests on the beach piled up.
Uh-huh.
And they all have different amounts of gil, like 1 to 100. It's crappy chests.
Mm-hmm.
The guide literally says one of these chests will lock you out of the weapon. Our advice is to just not open any of them. The guide wouldn't even tell you which chest it was. It just said,
Yeah, because all the chests are like randomly spawning in that game.
It's like, so you gotta go through knowing which chest not to open, or just don't open any of them for a chance. That's on top of the other requirements. But I will never, for the life of me, understand who thought that was a good idea.
The game just sounds like a disappointment.
So the story is not bad.
Very political.
It is very political. I think the characters they have potential, but there's very little interaction between story beats.
Okay.
So when you're like going through a town, going through a dungeon, you'll have maybe a few lines here and there,
Okay.
but nothing compared to like other Final Fantasies.
So I need to take a step back. That disappointment completely detracted. We're still talking about 12, right?
Yep.
Yes.
That disappointment made me forget which one we're talking about.
There is good in the game.
Sure.
It's not
There is
all
good.
bad.
I would hope so.
Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca. Don't
Yeah.
believe Ondor's lies.
Don't believe Ondor's
Don't
lies.
believe Ondor's lies. That's
I'm Captain Bosch.
Sure.
Just don't believe Ondor's lies.
don't believe Ondor's lies. You'll be fine.
Sure.
The main character, the character that you start as,
Van.
Vaughn, the little nobody character.
Justin called him pig faced.
He wants to. He's essentially a street rat. His goal is to become a sky pirate.
Don't want that.
So when he's not working at a potion shop for Magello,
Voiced by what's his name? John DiMaggio.
John
By the
DiMaggio.
way,
Magellan?
no, Magello.
Magellan.
Magello, when he's not working at Magello's potion shop, he's killing sewer rats because this will help him achieve his goal of one day becoming a sky pirate.
He's got to get Magello's melons.
Yeah, no,
Until Pinello comes and gets mad at him.
Wait. There's a Magello.
There's a Pinello.
And a Pinello.
yeah. Penelo's the love interest.
No, she's not. Pinello was there.
Yeah,
Pinello has literally no point to be there. You could remove her
you could remove it.
and nothing would change. That poor girl is just there.
Okay.
You start out the prelude. You start out by playing Vaughn's older brother in the middle of the war, and I think he dies or something. He's so much more interesting in every way than Vaughn, and then it sticks you with Vaughn, and it's just like,
Well, then you do get Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca. I do like Captain Bosch.
don't
He's
believe
cool.
Ondor's lies. Just don't.
Yeah, and it's a bad time if you believe Ondor's.
Would it make you feel better if you were referring to him as Vince?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're talking about Captain Bosch?
No.
Vaughn?
Vaughn. Would you like to refer to him as Vince?
No, I would rather not prefer to him at all. He's terrible.
Well, to be fair,
Vaughn is
him
terrible.
Him and Ash are the only characters who really have any notable character development as far as I saw in that game. I kind of stopped caring about the story when I got to the bullshit tower at the end of the game that had that stupid death room that you saw me do.
Yeah.
But everyone else feels like, as I said, they feel like they have a lot of potential. They're just half-baked, you know? It's like, Balthier, it's like, you know, as much as everyone loves him and he's charming, his voice acting is great, to me he is literally, all he does is he comes and he's like, I'm charming, I'm the leading man, something, I'm the leading man, my dad's the bad guy, I'm the leading man, I used to be a judge, I'm the leading, shit like that is this character to me.
And then Vaughn is like, hold on, you're a sky pirate? I gotta join you. And then he does.
He does. But he does warm up to Vaughn towards the end. He's just like, I'm the leading man. I'm going to give you my Sky Pirate ship. And Vaughn's just like, Willikers.
That's
That's
pretty
this
accurate.
game. Oh, and then so let's talk about Fran, whose character equates to I'm the elf archetype that
yeah.
just explains the lore of the world.
Yep.
Also, the mist seethes.
The mist is a big deal, and it
It is.
seethes.
It seethes, and she gets really angry
She's
when
very
it seethes.
sensitive to the mist, and it's seething pretty often.
Sure.
And everyone wants to fuck her for, to each their own. But I don't see it in her. She's really gross to me.
If you look too closely, it's not attractive.
She has really gross feet. I remember Mark got mad at me because I said I didn't think she was hot. This was a long time ago, though. This was like,
Hold on.
This was like when we were like early 20s, late teens. So
Hold on.
don't hold that against his character nowadays.
Does Eric like Fran?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
She's a total character.
That will be a topic for another podcast.
I would like to throw in a game in the disappointment pile.
Oh yes, please.
I think this might be the last beat.
It'll be short.
No, take your time, but I'm just saying that this will probably be the last beat of this episode.
Yeah. Imagine, what year did the DS come out?
2006.
We'll say 2006. Circa 2006, Christmas time. I get a DS in
your Christmas.
in a Christmas present, and I am stoked. There's 3, 4, 5 games that I get to play. I'm so excited. So I play them one at a time, right? I end up trying out Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2, and it's a side scroller beat 'em up with like non-linear level design where it's like you got to get to the end, but it's a maze.
I think I know this game. It's so bad.
It's not great. I'm gonna put that on with the excitement of a fresh system that I had been wanting for months.
Come here, buddy.
With the excitement of said system, to be met with
Tobey Maguire.
well, I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Specifically, the second movie is his best one.
Is it? No, I've never seen 2 or 3.
It's really good.
Okay.
2 is really fun. It's like campy. It's cheesy,
Okay.
but it's fun. 3 sucks.
So the one with My Chemical Tap Dance?
Yes.
Okay.
And also Pizza Time.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Pizza Time isn't 2.
I thought it was in 3.
That's the start of 2. You're a good man, Peter. You're just not dependable.
I don't remember 2. I didn't watch 3.
Anyway, so imagine like dusting off the system. Oh man, what are we gonna do? And it's like you got 5 minutes to deliver these 5 pizzas across to different points of the city. Go. I'm like,
What?
okay. And I start running way too fast, and the screen's too zoomed in. And there's like enemies trying to punch me, and Spider-Man delivering pizzas. And it's just like I couldn't figure out all the places in time.
Yep.
So I had to start again and reset the timer and go through it. And I was just like, this ain't working well, Chief. This ain't working too well. I never beat it. I've delivered the pizzas, but I didn't play the levels.
I remember when I got a DS, my dad was so against it.
Really?
He saw no reason for me to have another game system.
That's fair.
Milton is trying to be the 4th player at the table.
No, because isn't he just going to walk on the table and get kitty litter paws all over the place?
Yeah. I mean, he could sit there. That's fine.
Any other disappointment games? Mostly just Brawl. Man, I cannot stress how bad that game was.
I mean, I could very easily be forgetting some. I feel like people would mention the disappointment that is or for me, was Andromeda.
I had fun,
Yeah,
I had fun with that game in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the thing, right? With Cyberpunk, the launch for a lot of people was just downright terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The launch for Andromeda was like, that's a funny bug. Why did your face do a 360 and is not back to normal? Where'd your skin go?
My favorite glitch I had is I was driving the moon buggy on the first desert planet you go to, and I accidentally drove into the water, so it just zoned me back. But it zoned me inside of a building, inside of the dune buggy, and it was just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I could not get this dune buggy out of this building. And so
Yeah.
I tried to get out, and it just put me on top, and I kind of levitated and then fell, and then the dune buggy started freaking out inside the building even harder.
Yeah. Well, because my biggest thing with Andromeda was literally the fact that, man, I don't know what they did, but those faces were weird.
They outsourced. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Did they?
The animations went to a different company.
Oh.
And it's just the facial animations were just like, they'd be talking and then like one eyebrow just like blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like,
So my favorite memory with that game. So our friend Eric is a very big Mass Effect fan,
extremely.
and so we both picked up Andromeda the night it came out.
Uh-huh.
And so I am notorious for making monsters
I
As
think I
characters.
know where this is going.
as characters when I play the game. Moepu Rider
Yes.
was beautiful. I'll see if I can find a picture of her, and so Ian can upload it.
Just if we can't imagine our Bloodborne character, like that level of tweaked.
Yes.
But it's like one of the Hex girls.
The Hex Girls, for those of you that don't know, are from Scooby-Doo.
A random Scooby-Doo movie.
And then I think they showed up in a couple
They're
episodes.
in a couple movies too.
Oh.
I found an album of them on Spotify.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
found a really good Japanese song on one of the two on the same album for no reason.
All
It
right.
sounds like something out of Disgaea, but anyways, so
That's not how you say Sinful Rose.
I mean, Simple Rose is good.
It's
my
very
favorite.
good. That's why I said it. Anyway.
So Eric knows I make these monstrosities, and he is generally pretty upset when they exist, which makes me very happy.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, hey man, I know you try really hard with your characters, and I try really hard in the opposite direction. Let's send each other screenshots of our characters when they're done.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, okay. So I am tweaking. I am making the grossest gorilla-looking motherfucker that I possibly can. With like this comically bright orange hair.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And so like I was like, I take like 20 minutes making this thing look as ugly as I can. And I was just like, good. She's done. Moepu Rider, you're good. Good to go.
Fresh out the oven.
Right? No. I mean, after she's been in there for about 3.5 minutes when she needs to be in there for 60.
Yeah.
Um.
Doughy.
So if you recall the Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoon from the late 80s, early 90s,
Sure.
they had there's an episode where they had a wax figure of Dave, and they left it in the sun, and its face melted a bit. It looked all goopy and stupid. I'm equating it to that.
Yep.
But anyway, so Eric and I send our screenshots to each other, and I get Eric's, and she's his character. She's so similar to mine. Same hairstyle, same hair color,
Uh-huh.
just not ghoulified.
Yep. She has yours was grabbed. Yours was grabbed.
Mine was doing the grabbing because it was a ghoulie. And so, like, we send it. And then we're doing this over the PlayStation messaging.
Sure.
And so, like, 2 seconds after I send mine, I just get a response from just all caps, "Oh, god damn it." And I'm just like, oh my god, we're twinsies.
Oh my
He responded with an emoji of Kratos being very upset.
That is accurate, though. And as you guys may remember, Eric was on several episodes of Bloodborne.
Yes.
And so you guys have heard, hopefully, maybe, some of his mannerisms. And just imagine, if you will, that, oh god damn it,
Oh,
In his voice with those mannerisms.
there's like a traditional Eric sigh I like to do when he's upset. He just goes. I mean, you've known Eric for pretty long. Danny, would you say that's an accurate representation of his I'm upset about this subject in particular sigh?
Yes, yeah, that's pretty traditional. Eric. Yeah,
Classic Eric.
classic. Eric.
We won't go into the voice.
We love you, Eric.
I do love Eric. Eric's like a brother.
Yeah.
I've also technically known Eric since him and I were in first grade.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with Mark and myself. I've known him since I moved to Vegas as a 5.5-year-old.
I met Mark in 9th grade. He pegged me in the nuts with the volleyball, and then we became friends next period.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think that is a great segue into wrapping up this episode.
Let me see if I can find a good old Mwepu writer.
By the means of violence turning into friendship.
Why do I have all these Flintstone pictures saved?
So, as I have stated in the video last Friday, I will say it again because this is the inaugural episode. These podcast videos, will be going out every Friday, and they will be the only videos that go out during the week. Like I said much earlier on, we're trying something different because we want to.
We're gonna see how it works out.
And in the words of little toddler Cora, and you got to deal with it.
Her stomach is so gross in that scene.
Well, yeah, she's a little toddler.
She's chunky.
She is chunky, and I don't like looking at it.
Anyway, as is the standard, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Danny, Kevin,
John.
me.
Thank you for watching, John.
Yes. And Milton, thank you for being 98% quiet. Yeah. We'll see you in the next episode. Or we will talk to you in the next episode of Par for the Couch, the Square Table Communion. A goodbye!
We'll have a delightful thing